I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to speak to you today. First of all, congratulations on the nomination. How does it feel?
Bewildering, exciting, new. I'm very new to this world, so it's overwhelming. Relieved. I feel like the story is really special, so for it to get the recognition it deserves means a lot.
And for people who aren't familiar with Blue Jean, can you just give us a brief overview of the film and particularly a bit about your character?
So I play Jean, who is a gay netball teacher working in Newcastle in the 80s. And she's struggling with her own identity, sexual identity, and she has sort of come out in different areas of her life, but not all of them. And it's sort of her battle with that, and then it's set in the backdrop of Article 28, which was a law that was passed by Maggie Thatcher, which made it illegal to promote homosexuality in schools, whatever that means. So it's about her sort of balancing that and her own sense of identity.
And of course, it feels like we're still only, beginning to scratch the surface of LGBTQ plus stories, and particularly going back and uncovering those historical stories, that kind of were hidden away. So what was important to you about telling the story and being involved with the project?
I think it was really important to Georgia and me to show a real lesbian couple, because actually lesbians don't get enough airtime. They really don't. And a lot of the lesbian stories we see are either directed by men, which is not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but the experience is very over-sexualized, or it's very aesthetic and it's beautiful, and that's lovely in its own way. But we wanted to show real lesbians just being a real couple, having arguments and doing normal things that normal couples do, but they just happen to be two women. And I think that was a really important part of our story.
And what about working with Georgia, being on the set? What were some of the highlights, but maybe also some of the challenges along the way?
Time, which I imagine with any independent film is you do not have the luxury of time. Working with Georgia was a dream. She's become a very good friend of mine, and I think for both of us it was the start of something. It was her first feature, it was my first lead in a feature, so I think when you start from the same sort of start line, you're kind of as excited as each other, and you both want it to be the best thing ever, and we're all new and blurry-eyed, and I think that made the experience very raw for us.
And what do you hope people will take away from watching the film, and particularly the issues that it covers, and perhaps maybe realising we haven't progressed as far maybe as we think we have or should have?
Yeah, I think I hope there's a difference between reading something in a newspaper, hearing about things that are going on, hate crimes against the LGBTQ plus community, and reading about things like the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, which is basically Section 28 happening all over again. Reading it in a newspaper is one thing, and hearing about it and talking about it. Watching someone's lived experience of that and emotionally connecting to it, I hope helps people understand it in a whole different way. That just eradicates any misunderstanding or lack of information. So yeah, I hope it encourages people to see things differently.
And it's already had such a great reception at so many film festivals, seeing the film up there on the screen for so many different awards. How does it feel also when you realise that your film's really connected with people, because it's not always a given?
It's not always a given, oh my gosh. And when you're on set, we felt like we were doing something really special, but that feeling is always a bit nerve-wracking, because you think, God, are we going to think it's amazing? And no one else will. So the fact that people like it is a relief, because you feel like, oh, we are doing the right thing and we are leading with the right intentions and our instincts are correct. So yeah, it feels so special.
Things like British International, Independent Film Awards, so important for giving a platform for independent film. How do you see the health of the industry in terms of independent film, particularly in the UK? It's a great way to see more diversity, but perhaps there's still some way to go on some of those issues.
I think it's more than they're so important, because they are led by people wanting to tell stories. And when you have a lot of money, sometimes it's about ticking lots of boxes in terms of fan bases and Instagram and getting followers like that. But when you put it in a category of someone just wanting to tell a real story, that's something that we should be pushing for more of. And as well, cinema is dying a death, and it just, these films are made to be seen on the big screen. They're not made to be streamed. Everything about that has been edited in a studio to be watched on the big screen, and the whole experience is different. So I hope long live independent cinema.
And just very quickly, do you know what you're going to work on next?
I'm doing a play. I actually have to go to rehearsals right now, which is going to be bizarre. I have to step into Shakespeare world at the National. So I'm going to be buzzing all day. But yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Fantastic. Lovely to chat to you. Enjoy those rehearsals. Thank you.